I'm Mia Rigdon.
I'm Jenny Dorsey, and this is Alt-Baking Bootcamp, your crash course in healthier baking.
Today we'll be tackling a summer favorite, strawberry shortcake. This is the original recipe, one that we bought in the store, and so we're gonna try and recreate this without having all this lactose dairy situation, without refined sugars, and without refined flours. Do you think we can do it?
Yes, definitely.
Well, should we try this first?
Yeah.
This looks like a dairy bomb to me.
Yes.
Anyone who has an issue digesting lactose, which is most of us, is probably not gonna feel that great after eating this. There's like weird goo on top.
It's kind of soggy.
It's really soggy. I mean,
I got a whole strawberry and it wasn't very sweet. I feel like the strawberries were probably not very nice.
the cake is really sweet. It tastes like pound cake to me.
Yeah. Kind of looks like pound cake.
Yeah.
And there's just so much whipped cream on it.
I know. This is really a lot. I think we can do better.
Mm-hmm. Let's do it.
What we're gonna wanna do is really accentuate the sweetness of these strawberries, which are in peak season right now, and then use high quality ingredients that also have natural flavors and health benefits so that we can have just a more natural taste to the whole thing. There are 3 components to a strawberry shortcake. There's the shortcake, the cream, and the strawberries. So we're gonna start off by cutting these strawberries because we're gonna soak them in lemon juice and we want those to be able to sit for at least an hour before we eat them.
I'm gonna do a quick demo of how to cut a strawberry, but of course you can cut them however you want. What I like to do is cutting off your stem. You can save these and make strawberry water so you don't waste them.
You could also throw them in a smoothie. There's nothing wrong with the tops of them. They're edible.
And you can slice them in 3s or 4s, depending on how big your strawberry is. And if you want like smaller pieces, you can also go this way. But for our strawberry shortcake, we'll keep them in horizontal slices.
We're not gonna cut all these strawberries right now because we actually already did this. So we are just going to mix this with some lemon, and you could also put a little bit of coconut sugar, maybe a teaspoon or 2 max, if you want to accentuate the sweetness, but the strawberries right now are so ripe that I don't think that it needs it. If you can, it's really important to buy your strawberries organic. Strawberries top EWG's list of the Dirty Dozen, which shows the foods that are most commonly affected by pesticides. We don't want to eat these pesticides, so if you are able to, buy them organic. This is about 1.5 pints of strawberries, or maybe even close to 2 pints. So 1 teaspoon of coconut sugar isn't gonna make them overly sweet, and you're actually not gonna be consuming that much of it. It just accentuates the sweetness a little bit. Now we're just gonna throw these in the fridge while we make our shortcake and our whipped cream. Now we're on to the shortcake, the base of our beautiful strawberry shortcakes. Unlike the original recipe, which we tried earlier, we're actually gonna make individual shortcakes, which are pre-portioned, which I feel like helps a little bit when you're eating desserts because it's easy to just kind of keep going back for one more bite, right?
That's me.
We're gonna start with the wet ingredients and put them in our mixing bowl. So the first ingredient is 2 eggs. These are organic pasture-raised eggs. Check out our banana bread recipe if you want to know why we love organic pasture-raised eggs.
Just cracking right into the bowl as usual.
Living on the edge. And then we have honey.
Honey and eggs are both great emulsifiers, which help keep this strawberry shortcake together.
And some vanilla extract.
Vanilla extract is essentially vanilla beans that have been macerated in some sort of neutral alcohol. The USDA mandates it has to be 35% alcohol, but essentially the alcohol burns off pretty quickly in the oven, so you're not gonna get any alcoholic taste, and it doesn't make the dough too wet or sticky.
You could also use the scrapings from a vanilla bean. So we're gonna mix this up. And once the egg starts to mix with the honey and the vanilla, we're gonna add our melted ghee.
Melted ghee is clarified butter, so butter that has had its lactose taken out. This is suitable for people who have lactose intolerances, or if you just want a healthier but butter tasting alternative.
If you don't want to use ghee in this recipe, you can substitute this for coconut oil, but the ghee tastes so good, because let's face it, butter is delicious.
Either way, you just want to make sure that either your ghee or your coconut oil has been melted but isn't hot, so it doesn't scramble your eggs.
A good way to test is to just put a little bit of the ghee in at first and mix it so that the eggs kind of come up in temperature as well, and then slowly mix in the rest of the ghee in case it's hot or if you're worried that it's going to curdle the eggs. Next, we're going to mix together our dry ingredients. So we have 2 cups of almond flour, half a cup of coconut flour, half a teaspoon of baking soda, and some sea salt.
Coconut flour and almond flour we use a lot, so make sure to check out our chocolate chip cookie episode to hear more about the flours and why they're useful. We love this because this is grain-free and it gives it some texture.
So now we're just gonna add our dry ingredients to our egg mixture. We're gonna turn our mixer back on. All right, so the dough is looking good and mixed. Whenever I'm using a stand-up mixer, I always want to scrape the bottom of the bowl just to make sure that everything is fully incorporated.
Ooh, looking good.
Looks great. So we already have our oven preheated to 350 degrees, and we've lined a baking sheet with parchment paper. To make our individual shortcakes, we're gonna use an ice cream scoop just to portion them evenly. Take out one nice sized scoop, and then I kind of just mold them into a ball using my hands, and then flatten them into a little disc. You could use a cookie cutter if you wanted to be really precise about this. I kind of like the rustic quality of it.
It's like nice and soft.
Yeah, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
They should be about ½ an inch thick. They're not gonna spread too much when they bake, so you don't have to worry about having them too close together. Okay, now these are ready to go. So we're gonna throw them in the oven for about 15 minutes. And while Jenny's over there, she's gonna grab another mixing bowl and a beater that we put in the freezer so that we can make our coconut whipped cream.
Alrighty, these are nice and cold. If you don't have space in your freezer, you can also just give the bowl and the whisk a nice dunk in some cold water or ice water if you have it.
Coconut whipped cream has only 2 ingredients: organic, unsweetened coconut, and vanilla extract. I buy these cans of full-fat coconut milk. I look for the organic, non-GMO, and unsweetened labels. You also want a can that is BPA free. BPA is a chemical that you do not want to ingest. So this can of coconut milk has been in the fridge overnight. So what happens is that the solid fat from the coconut separates from the coconut water, so we can get all that delicious cream out.
Essentially, coconut milk is 1-to-1 coconut meat that's been mixed with water, homogenized in some sort of way. When you put it in the refrigerator, the lighter fat floats to the top and you can easily scoop it off. If you don't want to buy coconut milk and go through the process, you can also buy canned coconut cream, which is 4-to-1 in terms of coconut meat to water. However, make sure you're not buying cream of coconut because that's a totally different product. It's essentially sweetened coconut cream, and you can't substitute it for any of these recipes we're making.
So I'm gonna scoop the cream, you can see it right here, off the top of this can of coconut milk, and then I'm gonna put a little bit of that coconut water in there just to loosen things up a little. If you like your coconut cream denser, you don't have to do this, but it's just a personal preference of mine. You can see it's really thick.
And this again is why it's important that your bowl and your whisk is cold, so you don't warm up the coconut fat too quickly.
And the coconut water down here, you can see it's really separated. You can put this in smoothies, you could drink it like you would coconut water, but we're gonna put a little bit of this coconut water in with the cream just so that we get a fluffier consistency to our whipped cream. So now we're just gonna whip this for a minute and slowly add in some vanilla extract. So I'm gonna give this a quick scrape and then just whip it for a second longer.
It's so thick.
Yeah, really good. All right, I think it's ready to go.
Can you keep this in the fridge?
Yep, you can keep this in the fridge for about a week. So good.
And so easy.
Can you believe it has no sugar in it?
It's crazy.
So our shortcakes have cooked and are cooled, and now we're ready to assemble our strawberry shortcakes. So who do you think can make a nicer one?
Oh, it's on. Oh, okay. I see what's happening.
Okay. All right, Jenny won. I messed mine up.
I think it looks great.
You know what I was trying to do.
Yeah.
It didn't work. You guys, I think I might need to make a new one.
You can start over.
Okay, wait. Let me just clean this a little bit. I just like to pile the strawberries on. You guys, I don't know if I like this competition. So Jenny's looks gourmet. Mine's going for more of the rustic vibe, but we're gonna finish it off whenever Jenny's done plating hers with a little sprig of mint.
And this is a great way to keep herbs fresh in the refrigerator and a little bit of water. Look at my tiny sprig of mint.
I go for like the big.
Yeah.
Okay, whose is prettier? I think yours looks really pretty.
Oh, thanks.
Mine's
I think yours
sloppy.
is fine.
I really like coconut whipped cream, can you tell? All right, let's dig in.
Yeah, my favorite part.
The shortcake definitely has a cakey feel to it.
Yeah, and it's not so like, kind of like drenched in the strawberry.
And it's not like a cookie. It's definitely feels a little bit like a cake.
The strawberry itself is so sweet, and it's got a little bit of tang from the lemon, which is really nice. Kind of breaks up the flavor.
I have to say, it really retains the texture and the spirit of the original one, but you can really taste the strawberries. I feel like the mint gives it some freshness. The coconut whipped cream is delicious, and it doesn't have that abrasive sweet quality.
This is so nice because you can bake it ahead, keep everything separate, and essentially have a gourmet dessert ready when people come over or to a picnic.
Awesome for the 4th of July or any other holidays.
And if strawberries aren't in season, you can also use a different fruit, like peaches or stone fruit. I think I'll be baking this all summer long.
I'm right there with you. I'm Mia Rigdon.
I'm Jenny Dorsey.
And this is Alt-Baking Bootcamp.
Thanks for watching.
See you next time.